Today we're going to talk about on 22 different wide receivers and how their value is going to impact fantasy football, where you should draft them, how you should strategize around them, and everything else. But before we dig in, you need to click that subscribe button right now. We're talking about these players every day. We're talking about strategy for your drafts every day. We're going to help you build your team. We're going to help you win your leagues in season. Every day it's the waiver wire. We cover the waiver wire more than any other website or YouTube channel out there. From the top to the bottom, deep leagues, shallow leagues, redraft leagues, dynasty leagues, it's all right here. Click that button, stop missing out. First off, Zay Flowers. There's a lot with me when it comes to Zay Flowers. First off, I like that he's getting a good target share during a rookie season. I like that he had 4 wide receiver 1 weeks last year, because there's some other wide receivers who are heavily talented who's popping off on the top end just like he is. I think the downside to his week-to-week production is pretty low, but he's also very stable. We're going into year 2. On top of that, though, when we look at his price on Underdog Fantasy, round 3 ADP, that's kind of steamed up too much. We're drafting him more towards his upside due to him getting a higher average depth of target. That's the distance the ball's traveling downfield. He gets the ball more towards the line of scrimmage. He is more capable of getting the deep ball. But round 3 draft capital on Underdog's kind of high. However, in your leagues, running backs are going to steam up a little bit in your draft. Should be more round 4, round 5 range. Round 5 range, late round 4. If he's going in that area of your draft, there's no other wide receivers that you're clamoring for, you're starting to feel icky at running back, I feel like he's a great get, because he's going to get over 20% target share easy, possibly pushing around the 25% range. That's going to make him consistent. That ADOT's eventually going to go up, whether it's this year, next year, or for a batch of games, or off and on. But he's going to get some more deep balls here and there because he projected like that coming out of college, because he had a high ADOT then. He's got the speed to do so. That just didn't happen during the rookie season, but averaged 13.4 points per game in 17 games last year. Not bad. We had some upside performances as well. Zay Flowers, I like him a little bit cheaper, which he will be a little bit cheaper in your home league drafts. Ricky Pearsall, watch the news. His price is going to go up a bunch of rounds if Brandin Ayuk goes to the Steelers. It feels like a lock, but sometimes it doesn't feel like a lock. So we can't really comment on him really until we know that final value. So you got to watch Ricky Pearsall. He's a good route runner. He's a good separator. First round draft pick. Start out a little bit late in camp. However, he's got that upside to him due to the draft capital, due to the size of just athleticism. Very nuanced player. Could just develop rapidly into the system. Something to pay attention to. However, if he's the wide receiver 3 in this offense, round 12 draft capital, I'm drafting running backs in this range. I'm looking at the running backs. He is a good upside speculation play, a gamble if you want to make that. Not a guy to make stabs on, but a gamble in this range if you like him. However, Deebo and Ayuk, if those guys are healthy, along with Kittle, along with Christian McCaffrey, the target share really isn't going to be there. Injuries would have to unravel this offense for him to get the opportunity, or he just has to step up and be immaculate. Right now, we're just waiting for the Brandin Ayuk news. George Pickens, Brandin Ayuk news, and there's a theme to that. So if the Brandin Ayuk news happens, Brandin Ayuk goes to the Steelers, his ADP is going to drop on Underdog. Kind of high on Underdog right now, but again, he's going to give you that top-end volatility, which is what you want in those best ball drafts. In your home league drafts, those running backs are going to go up a bit. Looking around round 5 draft capital. Round 6 would be a little bit too late for him. Unless Ayuk goes there, I look for him to become a value. I still see him being a good splash option with a better floor due to better quarterback play. I think the offense is going to be slower, though. I don't want to use him as my wide receiver 1. If he's the first wide receiver I draft, I'm very scared. If he's my wide receiver 2 or my wide receiver 3, depending on my build and where I'm at in my draft, I'm fine with that, especially if he's my wide receiver 3, considering what I'm seeing here, because you can play the matchups with him. He's still going to get a good target share. He's still going to be over 20%. His ADOT is going to be high, but he's going to cash in on those air yards more. Probably will push more of 100 air yards a game, even with Ayuk there. I see Russ and Justin Fields just pushing it to him because he's been immaculate in camp. This is the best quarterback play we've seen him with. This should be a solid get. If he drops in value, Brandin Ayuk might create a good arbitrage for you to get George Pickens at the right cost. But George Pickens is up there right now, round 4 draft capital. You may want to pivot to running backs if you're playing an underdog. But the upside's there in some weeks. We saw that with bad quarterback play. We'll probably see this with decent quarterback play this year. However, with Brandin Ayuk here, it's going to drop the draft capital. So pay attention to the news if that happens. Deebo Samuel. The price is already high. I can't see it going much higher due to the injury history. But he's productive when he's on the field. He's productive when he's healthy. He's got upside to his name. But round 2 is a very icky round. You need to strategize round 2. You need to win round 2. Because round 2 is the icky round. I see a lot of fantasy gamers bombing round 2. I think this moment here where I'm talking about Deebo, I'm more talking about round 2 here and what's going on. Because we got a lot of wide receivers here who are very good. But you can also look at their game and you can be like, well, I can see this happening and hurting this player. Jalen Waddle is pretty safe with the Dolphins. We have a slight injury history, but nothing crazy. DeVonta Adams, quarterback play potentially. Age, Cooper Kupp, injury, age. Brandin Ayuk, we do not know right now where he's playing at. Drake London, got a lot of indicators where he could break out, but still, it hasn't happened yet, but he's getting priced as if he's going to. Nico Collins, we got Stephon Diggs there. I'm not worried about it, but again, you got to tell that story to be objective. Chris Olave, we're looking at Saints. Everybody's scared of that offense right now. Marvin Harrison Jr., elite prospect, but a rookie. This is an icky round is what I'm saying. This is an icky round, but this is a round you got to win. You got to win round 2. Maybe you go with the running backs and hope you pick the one that stays healthy the longest because all of them got potential between Saquon Barkley, Jonathan Taylor, whoever comes up from that 3rd round in the underdog drafts to your home league draft to the 2nd round. Whatever it is, you got to win round 2 here. That's going to be a pivotal round here for your fantasy league. Odunze. I like him as a top-end speculation wide receiver. I feel like round 6 an underdog, he might be cheaper in your home league draft. He's a very fluid player. And the fact that he's got DJ Moore and Keenan Allen there as the buffer during his rookie season brings down the price. But the thing is, if he's the talent that a lot of people were arguing for during draft season, some people were saying he was better than Marvin Harrison Jr., some people were saying he's better than Malik Nabers. We look at the training camp clips. He's on fire on the route running. We got the speed. We got the work ethic. Caleb Williams is looking good so far. If that can materialize in season, what if Odunze, maybe it's not week 1, maybe it's week 6 or something, and you're hoarding him as a speculation play, as your lottery ticket. He's an expensive one, but this is a lottery ticket that if it cashes, it's a top-tier wide receiver. It's another elite wide receiver in the league. That's the type of cash you're looking at with a Odunze, which could happen due to the talent level. He's different compared to a lot of the other rookie wide receivers here. A different type of talent. Xavier Worthy, good wide receiver, good offense, but not the type of talent Odunze is. Nobody was making that argument during the offseason. Same with McConkey, who's a great talent. I like him a lot, but not like Odunze. Maybe you make that gamble. If he goes past the 6th round in your home league draft, and you're good at running back and wide receiver, and you're looking to make upside plays, this is the one to make. If you're going to make an upside play in the middle rounds, where you're not afraid to whiff, this might be the one to make. McConkey, same thing, but the offense, getting a little nervous about that, getting a little bit nervous on how fast-paced this offense could be. I think he can give you some production. I think the upside could be there. I think he's going to get target share. I think Quentin Johnston's done. I don't think Quentin Johnston's going to steal target share from him. I think he's going to be on the field. I think he's going to be getting opportunity. I think the team likes him. We do not hear much from him from training camp. The Chargers are holding the cards close to their chest there. But McConkey, I believe the upside's there. I think the price is kind of up there in underdog, but I think round 7, 8 range, 9 range in your home league draft is probably where he's going to be at, especially the more home league your draft is, the cheaper he's going to be. Xavier Worthy. And the reason why I'm talking about these rookies back to back to back is this is the speculation round. Add in Brian Thomas Jr. I'm probably talking about him later. But this is the speculation round. All three of these guys together. Pick your poison. Pick your guy. Odunze is my 1. Xavier Worthy, due to the offense, is my 2. Ladd McConkey is my 3. However, talent-wise, Worthy, Ladd McConkey, they're not as far off from each other than what some people would think, and I wouldn't be surprised if Ladd McConkey becomes the most productive, but if I had to make the bet, Odunze would be the guy I'd be going after in this round as my speculation play. Round 6, Diontae Johnson. Target share, 20+%, 25-ish is probably where he's going to be at. So a cheap 25% target share in round 6. If you're looking for stability, if you're not looking for speculation, look for that. DeAndre Hopkins on the men, Christian Watson in an offense that's very ambiguous. He gets hurt a lot. Something to look at, though, because he can deliver splash weeks. I would like him a little bit cheaper. But Odunze is my guy here. Xavier Worthy's looking good in training camp. 4.2 speed. Going to be getting targets if he's on the field. This team is weird with their young talent. Even Rashee Rice took some time to earn the trust of the coaching staff. Remember that. Even though things are looking good in training camp, we get a lot of wide receivers coming from this team that look good in training camp over time. So just watch it. Pay attention to Xavier Worthy. Diontae Johnson, like we were saying, he's the stable piece in this middle rounds here. Round 6 draft capital. Round 7 he's dropping down to. He's getting cheaper. People are getting low on the offense again as we get closer to draft season. But he's going to be around the 25% target share. He's creating separation. He's looking good in training camp. Bryce Young is looking good. This offense is different. Different coaching staff. Everything's different here. So we're going to get different results. Adam Thielen looked good in the start of the season last year, especially in production. He was steaming up. He was winning weeks for people. I cannot see Diontae Johnson getting some sort of target share like that. If anything, he should give you something that we see in the chart below with some good wide receiver 1 performances, maybe like 3 or 4 throughout the season, some flatline wide receiver 2 games, probably something like that, maybe some down performances here and there. But look where he's at, like wide receiver 45 off the board. You can't complain too much. And he's your stable play, not your upside play. Jalen Polk, he's down on the depth chart. We've been talking about Javon Baker. Now it's time to talk about Jalen Polk. He was going crazy in practice yesterday. He can get downfield. He can command those air yards. The incumbent wide receivers, Demario Douglas and company, are looking good as well. This team's looking good on offense, but Polk could splash on you. He could be a good upside play. He's got draft capital behind him. Round 12. The thing about this is where I'm looking for those upside running backs. But also, I want to sprinkle in an upside wide receiver here and there. This is a good draft to do so. We had a lot of good rookie wide receivers in this year's class. More than usual, more than ever before, actually. About 20 wide receivers with round 2 grades or better coming in this year's class. You may see more or less, but that's just baseline talk. But Jalen Polk here has got a lot of upside. If you're looking for an upside wide receiver on the cheap, could be the guy to look at. And this is another speculation range. If you want to think about in those terms, Ricky Pearsall, Xavier Legette, Jalen Polk, all in the same round. Looking at rookies, Gabe Davis is a speculation play due to him being a deep ball dandy with a deep ball quarterback. Josh Downs, maybe. He's got a lot of competition in this offense. But looking at the range of outcomes with these wide receivers, throwing Jahan Dotson here too, because we got some changes at the quarterback position. Gambling here and hitting could be a big spot for you. Calvin Ridley. Looks like he's going to be the guy in the offense this year. Looks like he's going to get a 22% target share like last year. Maybe more, maybe a little less. Might be pushing 25%. It's all on Will Levis. If he goes into year 2, once we're live in action, pushes the ball downfield, is accurate, is confident, then Calvin Ridley, when you look below, that's not a bad season. Just the down games were down. That's not bad, though. I'll take that with my wide receivers. I'll take that. Look how many games he was over 20 points. In a new offense with a new quarterback. I get it, Trevor Lawrence. I'd rather have him over Will Levis. But Will Levis can push it. Will Levis for fantasy football and your wide receivers is something you want. You want a quarterback with some cojones? You got it with Will Levis. Dude drinks mayonnaise for fun. Calvin Ridley at round 5 ADP. You're probably going to catch him a little bit cheaper in your drafts. you may want to smash that. Xavier Legette, it's the same thing with Jalen Polk. He's back at practicing. He's back at health. We'll probably get some more highlights from camp out of him. But we got that size of just athleticism. If they cash in on him with drag routes, with that speed, maybe he has some big games this year. Expect a rookie ramp up. But one of these rookies from the middle to later rounds, these wide receivers, maybe even two of them, is going to hit. We don't know which one. The talent's there on a lot of these guys. And some of it, the talent's specialized, like Xavier Legette, due to that size of just athleticism. But at the price here, which one of these wide receivers are dancing with between him, Jahan Dotson, Jalen Polk, those rookie wide receivers? Because Xavier Legette back on the field, he's got the speed, and Bryce Young is looking like he's coming up and looking good, and his offense is different now. Gabe Davis, the original splash play machine. He was last year 4 wide receiver 1 weeks. The same amount as Brandin Ayuk, whose half this video is about. Brandin Ayuk had 4 wide receiver 1 games. Gabe Davis too. But the down games are the down games. Because this guy's a roller coaster wide receiver. He's got the Will Fuller effect. But he's with a quarterback top 5 in the league last year among quarterbacks in ADOT, average depth of target, the distance of pushing the ball downfield. So a quarterback that wants to push it downfield. And they identified with that by drafting a 4-3 wide receiver who's a deep ball dandy in the first round of this year's draft. Gabe Davis, pretty much in the same situation technically. 8 out of almost 15. That's elite. That's what you're going to get. If you want a wide receiver like that, you really don't know when to start them, but you're going to target matchups like the Tampa Bay matchup, pass funnel defense last year. You're going to put them in, and it's going to happen. Some of these other matchups you don't know, but what happens, happens, and he's a gamble wide receiver that can win you a few weeks every year. Jaxon, Smith-Njigba. If you told me there was a rookie wide receiver drafted in the first round, catching 60-some balls for over 600 yards, would you be running away from that and saying that's a bad year? A lot of people were down on him going into the offseason. There were some plays that were called back. There were some moments that just didn't happen that actually did happen on the field. Just the refs got in the way. Wide receiver 45 in ADP, round 7 draft capital. He's in the speculation range, but he's actually a little bit cheaper because we saw what he did at Ohio State. I would throw out that Utah game because that was against a running back at DB. Look that one up. I would go against that one. I would not pinpoint that big performance. But during his time at Ohio State, proven to be a good route runner, has good speed, had a low ADOT last year here with Seattle. Probably going to happen this year. But we do have 2 veteran wide receivers in front of him. We're going into year 2. And we flashed a little bit as a rookie. We did flash a little bit, and we're cheap. I would look at him more as a gamble, and I like him as a gamble that's a little bit more stable compared to the other wide receivers in the round. This is also a good spot to go running back, though. So you might be going with some of these running backs here that's fallen instead of him, which makes sense. But if you're feeling icky at the running back position over like Aaron Jones or something, if you're icky with that, I kind of like Aaron Jones as my RB2-3 range here. If you're feeling icky with the running backs at there, maybe he's your stable option. DeVonta Smith, round 2 on underdog. You might catch him a little bit cheaper in your home league drafts if you do snatch him up. Get him in round 3, round 4 if that happens. Get your elite wide receiver in round 1. Get you a running back round 2. Hopefully hit in round 2. And if he's there round 3, even round 4, then go get it. Round 2 an underdog. Remember, wide receivers get pushed up a bit. He is a good round 2 wide receiver in my opinion. I would draft him in round 2 over some of the other guys because I feel like he's very stable. He's going to get over a 20% target share. His air yard should be right around where it's at, if not more. He can push it downfield. He's very nuanced. He's going to be on the field. Had a 98% route participation rate last year, damn near 100%. So he ran about 100% of the routes, getting you 14 points per game. That could even increase with a good season. Just the matchups flowing correctly. Matchup dependent too, A.J. Brown. But the upside weeks, you had 4 of them. Brandin Ayuk's going in the same round, had 4 of them last year. Pretty much similar numbers when you're looking week to week there when it comes to wide receiver 1 weeks, wide receiver 2 weeks. So again, DeVonta Smith, expensive. If I can catch him a little bit cheaper in a home league draft, cool. I think he's worth the value. And if you can catch the discount, get it every single time. Christian Kirk, if you're drafting with 2 condoms on, cool. He's a cheap option in the middle rounds, but he's also a little bit expensive for what he is. He gets a lower ADOT. He gets a good target share, around 20%, but he's not going to win your league. And at his spot, if you're icky at running back, if you want to feel safe, cool. I don't think the top end weeks are really going to be there. I think they're looking to push it downfield. I think he's going to be the outlet option in the passing offense. I think around 13 points per game is okay. I think it's okay to get. I think if you want something safe there, he's never going to bust. He's not going to bust. As long as he's healthy, he's not going to bust. He's going to be stable. But I look for something like we see down here in the chart. That's what I'm seeing production-wise for this year. Brandin Cooks, round 10. If you're hurting at wide receiver, you're late in a draft, you're looking for a wide receiver 3, wide receiver 4, you went running back heavy, Brandin Cooks is probably the option for you. He's going to be stable. He's going to have some boom weeks, potentially, if he's healthy on the field. He is an older wide receiver. Wide receivers break down. Players break down. That's football. But Michael Gallup's gone. Jalen Tolbert will probably steal some target share, but he's cheap. Double-digit rounds in your home league draft. Probably round 11, round 12. People will forget about him a little bit. He is probably never going to get a 20% target share with CD Lamb there. But if something happens to Lamb, he's going to get steamed up too in target share. 13.8% target share last year. That's going to increase. Probably be around 18%. Probably around the 18% range with a good average depth of target. He's going to be very up and down with a decent floor. At this price range, if you're really needing a wide receiver 3, I'd be looking at Brandin Cooks because I think he can be a stable option for you. T. Higgins got a lot of upside. Round 4 draft capital. That's a good discount. He's healthy. He's looking good in training camp. He's looking good with Joe Burrow. I think T. Higgins at this price range, and if you catch him even cheaper in your home league draft, snatch that up. Especially if you start off running back. He's going to give you those upside weeks. Remember, we had those injuries in last year. That happened. That was a thing that impacted him. But he's been a stable player throughout his career due to the average depth of target, always getting those deep targets, always getting a good target share. So roster construction-wise, even if you went heavy at wide receiver, the fact that you're getting a wide receiver in an explosive offense who's historically targeted well, who historically gets the opportunity of those deep balls, that's a good get at this price considering a few years ago where nothing really has changed, maybe no Tyler Boyd even, that people were paying more for. Malik Nabers, looks like he's going to be healthy for week 1. I wouldn't be too worried about it. I'm trying to get as much Nabers as I can in fantasy football. Everybody is. He's the talk of the town. There's really not much to say here, but he's priced in as people are expecting Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson numbers. I wouldn't ever expect that out of a player. That's like a rare thing that happens, but he does have the upside for that. 80, Mitchell has upside in this offense as a deep threat. He's going to command air yards. He's going to get opportunity. He's getting moved around the offense. He's working some out of the slot even. He's got speed to burn. They recognize him as a mismatch nightmare. And like we said earlier with the other rookies, he's got upside to his game, unknown potential, unknown asset here that could really be that guy that gets your team over the top. And if you want to go cheaper, again, talent level kind of decreases as you get cheaper. That's debatable depending on the wide receiver, obviously. But if you want to go cheaper in that realm, round 11, double-digit rounds, 80 Mitchell, that's something to look at. Amari Cooper is going to get over a 20% target share. As long as he's healthy on the field, he's going to give you the opportunity to score fantasy production. He's going to get good air yards, almost 15 average at the target. That's top tier. Deshaun Watson's been looking good, been looking healthy. He looks good with Deshaun Watson. Try to get him around round 5 to 6 range in your draft. Not round 4 and underdog, but try to get him cheaper. If he happens to be your wide receiver 3, I like that. I'm a little bit worried if he's your wide receiver 2. He does get you some upside, but the age, the consistency, we got Jerry Jeudy in there. I would love him as a wide receiver 3, playing the matchups with him. I think that's a great piece to have, especially if you're tethered with an elite wide receiver. But if he's at the top end of your team, I would be a little bit worried. Jordan Addison, We got to cool off on him. The quarterback play is very suspect. Sam Darnold's been looking good, but he's also had a lot of down moments. We are also not in season. Looking good in training camp is a lot different looking good in season. Looking good in preseason is a lot different looking good in season. I look for things to be a little bit slower. I look for things to be funneled to Justin Jefferson. I look for Jordan Addison to have some splash moments, a few wide receiver 1 weeks. I look for this price tag to be a little bit pricey. This is the round where you should probably go with some of the guys with higher upside at wide receiver or start nailing in those RB2s that are sitting there. Courtland, Sutton. If you missed out on the wide receiver boat and you went running back, or something like that to start off your draft, you're running back heavy to start things off. That's what I'm trying to say. And you really need some stability at wide receiver. He's played with bad quarterback play throughout his career and has been productive, has been stable. Should be a slow-paced offense. Don't expect him to blow the doors off. Don't expect him to be a top-tier wide receiver 1. 12 points per game. If he's healthy on the field, that's what he's going to get you. A couple wide receiver 1 weeks, a bunch of wide receiver 2 weeks, some wide receiver 3 weeks, but cracking that double-digit threshold. I see that with Courtland Sutton. So if you want to play it safe, if you're hurting at wide receiver, you only got 1 or 2 good ones, maybe you want to get a stable option here. But those are the wide receivers that we're looking at today. We're looking at upside. We're looking at strategy. We're looking at everything in between. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Make sure to hit that subscribe button on the way out. Thanks for watching. Catch you on the next video.